Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to my channel. Insane Gorilla here. Welcome back to the channel. And where we last left off, Izuku left Mandalore with a bunch of other Mandalorians, around about 50 to be precise, because they already were on ships as they were evacuating the planet. Because in the last episode, the Empire attacked and conquered Mandalore, but did sustain heavy casualties. And Zuko also faced Lord Vader, which is very surprising for, well, for its reasons. So, yeah. But he also had a compliment from Lord Vader himself. And Izuku has now just found out that the reason why he could face Lord Vader and survive was because he had the Force. And I was always intending to give Izuku the Force anyway. If you guys already noticed, I gave very big hints to his abilities. One, Izuku Inko pulled out a lightsaber to show Mandalore, saying yes he is. He's also one. And the holocron, which Izuku found, then put back, then had to go and find with Idril. He knew immediately where it was. And not because of his memory, because the Force was showing him the way. And that's also why I'm also giving him the dark saber. And it turns out he's also part Vizsla, part of House Vizsla, the first Mandalorians. Well, one of the Mandalorians that was Shae Vizsla, the first Mandalorian to be accepted into the Jedi. So, we last left off. Zuko and the Mandalorians went to Earth, went to the forests, set up like housings for the people, male and female. And this is where, well, we continue. The Mandalorians get taught by Izuku and Idril on how the population speaks and how they act around unknowns. So they suggest to keep a low profile, always keep their helmets off, along with their armor, to basically show that they're not a threat. But when they are back in camp, they can immediately put their armor back on. As everybody sort of agrees, then gets on with their daily lives, picking up food, going out hunting, making crops, which is where the civilians come in, because Mandalorians brought some civilians along. That's why they need the housings and all that. As they, well, all start doing farming, herding animals, basically being a real small village. Eventually, Izuku and Ichigo go back out again, saying, right, we're going to finish the mission Mandalore gave us. As this cloaked woman once again turns up, saying, what did Mandalore send you out here to get? Anyway, I know about the holocron, because I've seen it in a vision. And it's also shown me where you've hidden it. So what else did Mandalore send you out here to get? And Suzuki shows a hologram of what he's here to get. As Ahsoka says, "Ah, this was actually a test by Mandalore." And Suzuki sort of says, "Why would it be a test by Mandalore? It's not like he had prior reasons to hide things." And she just says, "Well, he had his reasons. A Mandalorian named Bo-Katan and I fought in the Clone Wars. Side by side, in fact, to free Mandalore from Maul, a Sith, Sith assassin to be precise." Suzuki says, "Sith? What's a Sith?" "The ancient enemy of the Jedi. Maul was a very strong combatant. I faced him on Mandalore and defeated him. But when when my clone troopers turned on me in some sort of great Jedi purge, I had to strike a deal with him. Unfortunately, he backstabbed me and got away. He's been missing ever since. Now, I need to try and find him and finish him off. I'm sure he's got a lot stronger since the last time we met. And I also need to find a few old friends of mine." As she walks off, saying, "I'll return when time is right. I'll return when I found my friend to start your training." As Suzuki says, "Interbeing what?" As the lady turns around and says, "A Jedi. To be a Jedi. To bring hope to your people. You'll be the second Mandalorian Jedi." As Suzuki says, "I'm not much of a Jedi. I'm a Mando. I'm a Mandalorian. Fighting's in my blood. And from what I hear, you Jedi are pacifists. Not our style." As the lady just says, "Trust me, I think being a pacifist could be a good sign of progress. The Mandalorians were pacifists once." Some of the Mandalorians chuckle, saying, "Yeah, we used to be." Until, well, Maul took over with his Shadow Syndicate. As this lady then walks off again, getting into a ship and taking off. As she goes into space and goes into hyperspace after leaving the atmosphere. As well, a few 10 months pass, she returns once again after finding her friend. As she lands, saying, "Midoriya, meet." Well, I think he can introduce himself as a man in white and blue armor turns up with sort of fiery teeth marks over his helmet. As Azuki gets his weapon out and says, "What did you bring a stormtrooper here?" As he says, "Easy, easy, kid. Easy. My name's Rex, Captain, Clone Trooper of the 501st. Good friends with Ahsoka Tano." As Deku says, "Ahsoka Tano." As Rex just says, "Yes, Ahsoka Tano. She's actually standing to the side of me right now, hiding her head. As well, Ahsoka Tano lifts up her hood to show a old, well, not so old, but a slightly weary face. And she says, well, thanks, Rex. I was trying to keep my identity hidden until a good moment. Sorry, Commander Tano, but you know how I operate. All too well, my friend. All too well. Ahsoka and I fought side by side in the 501st. We were good. We were clones at the time. I also fought in the Battle of Mandalore. And when the Jedi Great Purge happened. Jedi Great Purge? What was that? What's that? It's where my clone brothers killed all the Jedi. I'm not proud of it because I pulled my own weapons on Ahsoka myself. It wasn't your fault, Rex. You may not see it as Ahsoka, but I do. After all, we're friends. Friends don't pull guns on each other. Nothing in this galaxy is ever easy, Rex. You don't have to tell me. Anyway, the Mandalorians are good with their fighting methods. But are you sure this planet's safe? The Empire won't stop until all the Mandalorians are subdued. And bringing me out of hiding is, well, problematic. You're here to help the Mandalorians set up defenses. They won't turn away extra hands, and plus, having an old combat vet like yourself around, some of these Mandalorians may remember you. As a Mandalorian walks up and pats Rex on the back, saying, well, I'll be damned. An old clone. As Rex goes off with this Mandalorian to help out. As Ahsoka takes Zuko Midoriya away to train in lightsaber combat. As she says, I heard from another Mandalorian about your fight with a Sith Lord named Lord Vader. As Asuki says, yeah, the toughest fight of my life. As she says, I used to know him. Well, before he turned into that monstrosity of his former self. Mandalorians have a knack for quickly finding out information, so I'm going to tell you this flat out. Lord Vader used to be Anakin Skywalker, my former mentor and master. Well, before I was framed in the Jedi Order and left. I thought he was killed. Years later, I find out he was turned into a monstrosity like that. From a good friend of mine, an old friend. As she teaches Deku the four combat forms of holding lightsabers. As Zuko uses them to get used to them, as she throws him a practice saber, saying, both of these weapons are on stun, so they'll give you a bit of a yelp, but hey, you Mandalorians are tough. Are tough old cookies to try and crack. try and break. So here we go. As she gets into a fighting stance, as so does Izuku. As well, Rex, a few Mandalorians, Idril, and a few youngsters actually watch to see what's going on. As they see a Mandalorian and Ahsoka Tano facing off. As she says, begin. As Deku goes at her with obviously the practice saber, trying to tag her, blocking all of his attacks with relative ease and launching a few of her own. A few hours go past with Deku getting hit a lot, with Ahsoka not at all. As she just says, well, looks like we're going to have to practice a lot more on your combat skills. You have a good technique, but you're sloppy. You leave yourself way too open. Zuki says, I have been using 2 lightsabers. Both of them, well, all the Mandalorians have seen the armor now, so I might as well just wear that and get used to it. And you face off against me in that. As Zuki says, you mean the armor you walked onto my ship on? Well, walked onto my ship with? Walked onto my ship with? As he says, yes. I need to get it on. As Ahsoka says, fine, go and get it on if that makes you feel comfortable, and let's see how well you do with that on. As Zuko goes and gets the armor on, he comes back out. As all the Mandalorians sort of look in horror as it seems to be sacrilege of Beskar. But Deku says this was all Mandalore's idea, and I thought it was for him, because this suit was more suitable for a Mandalorian, such as Mandalore. But he said it was built for me, for some odd reason. As Rex says, I may know why, but I'm not telling anybody else that just yet. As Ahsoka says, very finely built, strong, sturdy, able to withhold lightsaber hits. The only weakness is the joints, and the joints are barely seeable. Mandalore knew what he was doing. Anyway, let's see how I hold up against you now. As well, Izuku activates the 2 lightsabers on his wrists, on his arms, as he gets into a fighting stance. Ahsoka doing the same. And Ahsoka is this time taking hits, because she has actually no idea of how to get past the Beskar armor. She could try to hit the joints, but the joints are extremely well covered. So getting a lightsaber cut within would be extremely difficult. Eventually she concedes as she takes 12 hits straight to the guts. She also told Izuku how to put him to non-lethal, so he did. As Idril sort of walks up, along with the others, saying, so Mandalore made that armor specially for you, hey? As a few hours of explaining happens, as Idril and Izuku walk off. They have a bit of sparring themselves. Izuku still in the suit and her in her armor. But before they do, they see smoke rising from the east of them. As they gather several Mandalorians, saying, "Follow us, put your armor on and follow us, everybody else stay here." And because Azuka has a jetpack within his armor, they all fly off. And this is where they stumble upon a gas cloud forming. As Azuki says, activate environmental dampeners. As everybody puts rebreathers on. As they land, seeing there's somebody making a giant poison cloud of gas of poison. A poison gas cloud. Sorry, got my words mixed up. As, well, they look like to be students from class 1A and 1B. Zuko doesn't know that it's class 1A and class 1B. He knows that there's a girl with black hair and says, "Huh, so it's that girl again." As Izuku sort of walks into the gas cloud, as the other Mandalorians wait in the gas cloud, go into the gas cloud with him, but just wait within the cloud. As the kid who was using his own gas mask pulls out a gun, shoots Tetsu in the head, doesn't hurt him because he's iron. As Kendo says Tetsu, as he says, "I'm alright," but another shot hits him again as he falls to the ground. Barely able to breathe due to the poison gas, as he aims at Kendo, saying, "Time for you to die, hero." As Kendo looks behind him and says, "What the hell is that?" And she points, saying, "Behind you?" As he says, "Nice try, hero, I am not that stupid." As something roughly taps him on the shoulder. He turns around to see Deku, this armoured behemoth in front of him. As he says, "Who the hell are you?" As he, gets punched in the face and getting knocked out. As the fog evaporates, showing several people slabbed in armour. As Tetsu starts heavily breathing, as Momo, Yaoyorozu, Tetsu, and Kendo, I think there was another one there as well, sort of gasp in horror as Momo says, It's those guys again. But wait, there were two of them, not like around about 6. Yeah, there's 6 of them in this group. As, Deku kneels down and wraps the guy with, some sort of rags, and a flare. But not a flare, just wraps him around with rags. As a Mandalorian picks him up and takes him somewhere different. Takes him to a secluded area. As Deku says, "Okay, everybody, find any of these people who are in trouble, and get them back to wherever they need to be. But take the bad guys prisoner. I'm going to see if there's anything else lurking around." As he jetpacks off. Now, Kendo and, well, Momo sort of freak out, saying, "Who the hell are you guys?" As well, Idril speaks up, saying, "You don't need to worry about us. Just know that we're here to save your sorry asses, like we did in the US, in that dome building." As Momo says, "Wait, I remember that voice. I never got your name, but I remember it." As Idril just says, "Whatever. Let's get you back to the rest of your classmates, shall we?" As well, Deku finds Toga and, well, Toga having a fight with Uraraka. Uraraka getting stabbed as usual in the leg. Toga getting some of her blood and getting away, or trying to get away. As she backs up, she hits a metal figure. As she turns around, she gets soccer punched in the guts and sent flying. As a Mandalorian flies up, grabs her, knocks her out, ties her up, and takes her somewhere different. As Uraraka sort of screams, saying, "Whoa!" As the CU sort of says, "Ribbit, this guy's huge. Ribbit." As he says, "Get back to your class now. This area isn't safe." As he once again uses his jetpack and flies off again. As, well, Uraraka and Suyu, aka Froppy, say, well, as Uraraka says, "That voice. Does that voice sound familiar to you?" As Froppy says, "Ribbit, yeah. Sounds like the guy who vanished a few months ago. Well, a few days ago." Uh, well, no, 10 months ago. Sorry. As well, this is where he finds muscular. Well, this is where he finds Kota being chucked off a cliffside. As he grabs not Toga, Kota, and flies him straight back up to where he was. As Muscular says, "That kid was too easy." As he hears, "What kid was too easy? I think you mean this one you chucked off the edge." As he turns around to see Deku. As he says, "Huh, never faced a hero like you before." As Deku says, "What makes you think I'm a hero? Just because I'm wearing armor? Please. You're just a big ass moron." As he says, "I'm a Mandalorian. I eat guys like you for breakfast." Literally. As he sort of makes himself look intimidating, as Muscular laughs and says, "Good luck trying to kill me then." As Kota like didn't have his eyes shut because he was like expecting an impact, but he opens his eyes when Azuka says, "I eat guys like you for breakfast," literally. As he sees Deku covered in armor, as he looks down and says, "You alright, kid?" As he dodges Muscular's attack. Kota says, "Who are you? Let me go." As he says, well, as Deku just shouts at him saying, "Do you want to die? Then stop squirming and let me finish this business." As Muscular gets a hit on him, smack in the face, Muscular ends up backing up a bit because he says, "Ow, that hurt." Basically just says, "Ow, that hurts," due to him hitting Zuko's helmet, as it's still made out of Beskar. Beskar's a bit stronger than a human hand. As he sort of shakes it, saying, "Ow, that hurt," like an absolute bastard. So you're a Mandalorian. So what kind of armor? The hell kind of armor is that? As Deku says, "If you can't even penetrate my armor, then you're nothing. The guy I faced the guy I faced 10 months ago was twice as difficult as you, and he had combat prowess and a power beyond all recognition. And I have exactly the same power as him, but I'm not as used to it." As Muscular sort of runs, saying, "Haha, then let me taste your blood then," as Zuko activates one of his lightsabers and, well, straight up the middle. Goodbye, Muscular. This kind of covers his eyes, saying, "Did you have to kill him?" As Deku says, "Yes, I had to kill him. It's my job as a Mandalorian to kill." As he says, I'll get you back to camp." As he flies off. As Kota points the way, as, well, Deku quickly had to land because of, well, the jetpack was running out of steam, to put it lightly. As Deku just sighs, saying, "I should have put more fuel in this earlier. Oh well, we'll do for another quick jump." As he hears, "Hold it right there, villain," as he looks over to see Aizawa getting ready to try and capture him, as he says, "This must be your teacher then," as he puts Kota down, saying, "Run to him quickly. I'll go and see if there's anybody else in trouble." As Kota says, "Mr. Aizawa, try to arrest him if you can, but be aware he's stronger than he looks." As Aizawa says, "Huh." As he tries to erase his quirk, as Deku just shuttles off, going straight to where Mandalay is. The red hair Mandalay. And she's having trouble with the guy with all the blades. As she sees this, well, heavily armoured and glowing green and black lighting individual slam into the guy who has all the blades, saying he's a follower of the hero killer Stain. And by the way, Stain has not joined the League of Villains or anything. He's still doing his thing. Ida doesn't go after him because, well, Aizawa just says, "You're staying in school to do your hero license, but to do some stuff." So the hero killer got away. But as this guy gets slammed, Mandalay says, "Are you a villain or a hero?" As Deku just says, "I'm neither hero or villain. I'm not a vigilante." As he activates his lightsabers, slicing all the weapons off of the guy that tries to stab him. As he also tries to throw knives at him, Deku just lets them hit the armor as they just bounce off, saying, "Really? You gonna try that? After you just got your ass slammed into by me? God, you're stupid. As he is, well, as the guy is very scared, saying, "Who the hell are you?" As he just simply says out loud, as he sort of like says to everybody, "Come over here quickly, bring the prisoners over the comms." As all of them turn up, saying, "We are Mandalorians." As they see their league of villains all bound up, some with a few injuries, such as broken ribs or a broken jawline. Darby gets away with twice, and Shigaraki. Bakugo is once again captured. Mr. Compressed gets away as well. As well, they question the villains of where their main base is. The gas guy can't really talk because he's still out cold. Muscular can't talk because he's dead, but Toga could. Oh yeah, Moonfish, yeah, they found his head rolling around. So yeah, Takayami's Dark Shadow gets brought back under control. As well, yeah, people see these so-called Mandalorians as Aizawa comes out of the forest with Kota as he runs up to Mandalay, but also sees that there are 6 people in armor, and they go by the name Mandalorians. As Idril lands, saying, "Come on, we gotta get back to base camp." As Dicky just says, "Not until we get all the kits back. One of them's missing." There's Dupla Arms and Kirishima say Bakugo's been captured by the League. We tried to get him, but they got away. As well, Deku says, "Huh, so the kid got himself captured, did he? What a surprise." Well, that's typical of Katsuki Bakugo. He's always been impulsive and reckless. As Aizawa says, "How do you know his name?" As Idril just says, "Well, he used to live here for, 15 years?" As Deku just nods, pretty much. And forgive me, but Mandalorians, can keep their helmets on. But I think all of you guys from the girl with the black hair's class can remember our voices. As everybody sort of nods, saying yes. As Deku just says, "Remove your helmet. It's time they know the truth." As she says, "Are you sure?" As he says, "Yeah." As he removes his helmet, revealing Izuku Midoriya, as everybody gasps in horror that the guy that they bumped into was a, well, virtually a superhuman. Well, an uberhuman, basically. As they look over to Idril as she removes hers, revealing her long brown hair. And a few scars to go along with it. As Momo, Yanirozu, Ojaka Uraraka, Mina, and everybody in Class 1A and Class 1B sort of shaking their boots, saying, "You two are Mandalorian, well, these so-called Mandalorians, along with them in the back there." As they say, "Yes, We're all a clan. It's a clan thing. As they say, are you all related? As they shake their head, saying, no, we're not related by any means, but our clans are often found warring with one another. Is, well, everybody is shocked and scared that these uber humans are basically living on this world. As they ask, how many are you? Are you, as they say, around about 50 to 55? Regarding the non combatants and civilians, or non combatants and children, there's 50 warriors. As Kendo says, so how many civilians do you have? As they say, around about 100. And around about 20 kids. So, yeah. As everybody sort of says, whoa, that is a lot of people. Yeah, I went there. I gave them a lot more than I should have done. But oh well. As they say, well, yeah, we're Mandalorians. There's always going to be a lot of us. As well, Idril says, come on, Izuku. Come on, Izuku Midoriya. We need to get back to the base, get back home immediately. As everybody says, wait, Izuku Midoriya? As Izuku says, yep, as he puts on his helmet again, saying, I left 3 years ago to go to my actual home, which is also called Mandalore. Mandalore, Mandalorians. It's a bit of a gumboddle, but hey, it's not like any of you chumps can do anything about it. As he, well, tries to take off, but can't. He says, ah, crap. Jetpacks are fuel. As, well, two Mandalorians come along, activate their jetpacks, lift him up along with them, and fly home. As they vanish out of view. And that's where I'm leaving off, guys. Au revoir. Like, comment, and subscribe.